my point about splitting the hair on terminology isn't dangerous, isn't bad, isn't authoritarianism and a shift to Christian nationalism, which is my favorite. I like that one the most to describe what's going on in America. Tell me why I'm wrong if you disagree with any of that.
I just don't know if you're right. I won't like tell you why you're wrong. But I'm not persuaded. I mean, some people can be described as Christian nationalists. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene, to the extent that I know anything about her, probably falls in that category.
Republican base. No,
some of the I mean, is it Christian? Is it like people waking up? I mean, part of the weird thing about the Trump phenomenon is that, and you see this even in the discussion of Herschel Walker this week, there's a lot of conservative defense of someone who is reportedly has a large track record in history that wouldn't be traditionally lined up with conservative behavior or concerns. That's trying to put it nicely. And Trump has always been the same way. And the things that Trump pushed policy-wise as a president, don't strike me as being particularly Christian. He obviously he's never read the Bible, has no idea what he's talking about. He like waited around once or twice. Yet the conservative Christians flocked to him earlier almost than anybody, them in the NRA. And he had a spotty track record on gun rights too. And so was he a vessel for increased amount of Christian like policy? The biggest one you could point to, and it's an important one, is how the Supreme Court decided on the Dobbs case.
Well, it just
is that a question of Christian nationalism? I don't know if that's how I would describe it. So I guess I'm less concerned, or I'm less persuaded that the thing that we're seeing on the right is described best that way with a set of goals like that. It very well might be. I'm slow to recognize that.
Well, I feel like the best piece of evidence for the argument is that Trump appointed those 3 justices who are voting on policy that those folks want, Christian nationalists. And most importantly, the act is now actually playing out in the life of half of America's women. Like the policy, it's a Christian nationalist policy, abortion. The vast majority of people who are anti-abortion are religious or that way for religious reasons.
Well, here's a way of thinking
Christian,
about this.
Really specifically.
Why isn't abortion allowed in France for people who are 20 weeks pregnant, right? Why is the cutoff often in Europe around 15 weeks? Is it because of Christian nationalism? Maybe. I mean, France is a much more explicitly Catholic country than we are. It could be also that that abortion politics is everywhere kind of a weird and difficult topic, and different interest groups get the whip hand for a while, and there's a backlash against it. I think it's a difficult topic. I'm not convinced, not to say that it's wrong, but I'm just not convinced that the reason why the justices voted the way they did was their own sense of or adherence to Christian nationalism. I don't know if Brett Kavanaugh wakes up in the morning as a Christian nationalist. It's kind of hard to imagine old Kagerstand that way, but it's possible. It's entirely possible. I just don't. Dobbs and abortion is a gigantic thing, and it immediately led to the degradation of rights of a ton of people. It immediately led to people having behavior criminalized that should never be criminalized. And it's led to a political backlash as well. I'm not minimizing that at all. What I'm saying is that what is the next Christian nationalism? Are we going to undo gay marriage? Are we going to undo gay adoption? I don't think so. I mean, there's a movement.
You're probably right in that we won't, but there's a huge movement towards it. I mean, Clarence Thomas suggested it. What about banning contraception, or even have a conversation about contraception or certain books? I mean, all of this is part and parcel of what I'm saying, what I'm afraid of, what the danger of Christian nationalism, our brand of authoritarianism, our brand of fascism, whatever. I know you don't like certain words, but like, to me, they all point to the same dangers, I guess.
I think
concerns.
Let's grant all of that for the sake of discussion.
Thank you.